Hello again, friends, and you are my friends, and welcome into your Matchday ticket. With me, your host, Martin, the landlord. We are really pleased to have you all with us. Hopefully, Facebook is also joining in with us this evening. Hopefully, I've linked it up well. On tap this evening, 3 points, an away win, and of course, Toto Ntiala's revenge game, as I'll call it. I can see some comments already flying in. As always, have your say on the show later on in the full time. But before the game, get those comments in and I'll read as many as I possibly can out. If you are watching on Facebook, please share us on your timeline. Let people know that this is the number one ITFC place to come and discuss all things Ipswich. All opinions are welcome. And the same applies if you're watching on Twitter or YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube and not yet subscribed, please do hit that subscribe button. It really does help us. So joining me this evening is, first and foremost, the man, the myth, the legend. He is Talking Town regular, Mr. Matt Phillips. Matt,
hello.
Welcome in.
How you doing?
Very well. We've got a Facebook user. Look at that. Evening, gents. How exciting is that?
Right, the queue is forming outside the Talking Town Tavern.
It certainly is. I've been changing the barrels all afternoon, my friend.
Get the puncher at the back.
Absolutely. We've got Ryan Cartwright on the form shown this season. Surely is the safe. Wilson is the safer option. We'll get into that. Legacy Bates is drinking the bar dry. Jacob Farrow's got a beer pending. Legacy Bates also thinks Toto is the best balance on the right of the centre backs. Before we get into the team news, let's of course welcome in a season ticket holder of over 20 years, a North Stand regular. If you catch him at Portman Road, you'll probably find him in the concourse before the game, during the game, and after the game. It is, of course, Mr. Neil Moles. Neil, welcome in.
Hello there.
Neil.
How are you?
All right. Yeah, not too bad.
Good stuff.
Let me tell everyone, he's had more costume changes than Elton John so far.
No, he really has. He really has.
His third outfit.
It is. Tonight, Matthew, I will be. First, it was an Arizona Cardinals fan. Then it was, I'll be an Ipswich Town fan. Love it. I love it. So
I
just
thought I'd get out of my work things.
Of course. Just to let everybody know, the match is delayed. We believe till 7:30. We were discussing off-air possibility of it going ahead without the iFollow working, as much as that.
Oh, Neil's down.
Matt,
Man down.
he's already had too much to drink. It's that Inshallah's revenge, mate. Watch it. It's strong. Watch it. It's strong. It really is. But yes, it has been. Love this show, and people on it. Great chat. Thank you ever so much. We appreciate it. So, while he picks himself off the floor.
Fell off his stool.
Before we get into team news, how did we spend the last half an hour, by the way? Did we, the extra half an hour, it's like the clock's changing. Did we make use of it in any way? Did we enjoy ourselves?
No, well, I don't like these 7 o'clock kickoffs because are the EFL not thinking that dads have got to put the kids to bed? So I had to get involved in that a little bit.
Neil, did you eat your dinner?
I did. It was soup, so it weren't too bad to, heat up and just ingest.
Lovely. I spent the last half an hour making TikTok videos.
This is your new thing, isn't it?
I don't know if I'm really cool or having a midlife crisis. I can't decide.
We'll have to see the content first. Are you dancing?
I can't dance. I'm a disabled man, Matt. Don't yank my PIP off me, man. Come on. Right, let's have some team news. Today's Ipswich Town team news is brought to you in association with Best Burger Stowmarket. Consistently high-quality burgers at great prices as quickly as possible. Grab the best burger at the back of the Queen's Head Stowmarket. Call Stowmarket 01449 680 058 to book a table. And of course, your custom tomorrow, before they close their doors for a month, would be greatly appreciated. If you do get yourselves down there, good burgers, cheap prices. I can't speak highly enough about them. If not Best Burger, go to any restaurant you can, because it's time to support these people. They desperately need our help. But back to town, that is the lineup. 4-3-3. It could be a 4-2-3-1. It could be a 3-5-2. It could be anything really. It's Paul Lambert's team. That is the lineup though, guys. Holy, Chambers, Ntiala, McGuinness, Ward, Andre, Judge, Bishop, Lancaster, Edwards and Jackson. First of all, I think it's important to start with Toto coming back into the team. Wolfenden has come into close contact with a COVID-19 patient. I think that's the correct word. So he's going to self-isolate for 14 days. As I said in the group chat, Matt, our strikers need not worry. They're always isolated. So they'll be fine. Enciala plays ahead of Wilson. Where do we stand on that?
Yeah, I mean, one of the guys just said it, didn't they? Should Wilson be ahead of Enciala? I would say he probably should be. I think certainly you'd maybe want Wilson's experience across the lower leagues and international experience, of course, to have a little word in the ear of McGuinness. Well, he's got Ward on his left as well, I suppose. But is Enciala going to go for a hat trick of giving away penalties this evening? I feel like he might do. They're going to be pacey coming forward, Sunderland. I'm nervous about it.
This is the Toto Enciala revenge game, Neil. This is where he earns his money.
Really? I'll be proved wrong, shall I? But I can't say it.
No. Well, look, at the start of the year, we had our traffic light system of who stays, who goes. And I made the case for Toto. I said, look, we paid good money for him. He has to be that third centre-half that comes in on the occasion, does well, does his job, and maybe works his way back into number 1/2 contention. I'm starting to think that may have gone now. However, he can still be a valuable piece, guys, off the bench like today. Called into action, play one game away from home at Sunderland, but play a consistent 90 minutes. I think he can do that.
I wouldn't even have Toto on the bench, to be honest with you, Martin. He'll give away a penalty from there. Just sitting on the bench in the dugout will give away a pen. I don't know. I'm being a little bit harsh on him. He started the season off okay. Put that lovely through ball on the opening day in the League Cup, didn't he, against Bristol Rovers? But I feel like he's just regressed. He's gone back to the Toto we thought he was going to be, which is a liability, which you can't really afford against Sunderland.
Yeah, he's a massive at times, Neil. I think. Do you feel Matt's right there? A liability?
I do. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, he could be fantastic for 90% of the game, but he'll then in that 10%, he'll end up giving away a penalty or slipping or just
some crazy
doing. Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I was happy to see Toto have this kind of Indian summer to his Ipswich career because we thought he was all going to go off to Bolton or whatever. But I don't know. He's just gone back to the Toto we know.
Well, yeah, but it's
unfortunate, isn't it? Because as you said, it was good to see him actually playing quite well.
Yeah. It was brilliant. But there's always that thought, first impressions last, don't they? You're always thinking in the back of your mind, he's going to trip someone up here or barge into someone. And, the penny he gave away at Lincoln was just ridiculous. As Cruncher said on the show, you knew from about 10 yards outside the penalty box he was going to give it. He was going to
He does suffer from the Manuel Thetis mind slip, doesn't he? Yeah. Where, he can be going along 89 minutes absolutely perfectly fine, as did Manuel Thetis, and then suddenly he switches off. He tries to recover and he gives away a penalty. And then in some games, like Manuel Thetis, he'll go the other end and score an overhead kick. And you'll be like, I can't figure this guy out.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? I mean, these players do come along at town. Like you say, Thetis and who was the other fella? Drissa Diallo was another one.
George Santos. Hero. Love George Santos.
Battle of Bramall Lane. But, Crunchy giving a little shout out to Paul Mariner there. He's not been well, has he, Paul?
No, he hasn't. We send our best regards to him.
Little shout. And, of course, regular show watcher Vicky, who's self-isolating as well, like Wolfenden. So, all the best to her.
You'll send rumours flying with that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is the culture we're in at the moment, isn't it, unfortunately?
Yeah, it certainly is. Okay, moving ourselves into midfield. Do we think Judge may play in that midfield 3, or do we feel it may be an Andre Bishop 2 with Judge ahead? How do we see that midfield 3 sort of lining up?
What do you reckon, Neil? What are you thinking, Neil?
I was trying to work out how he was going to fit in there, because if he's sitting where you'd have Hughes or Nolan, I don't think he's quick enough, or he'll get around and get stuck in enough for that sort of position. Yeah. So he would have to be in the more advanced role.
I think he might play wide, and he'll put Lancaster in there as he did against, was it Gillingham, where he played the number 10 role, Jack?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you can't trust Judge in that 3 of a midfield. You're all over the shop. No. Right back, left back, up front with Jackson. I feel like they're going to have to stick him on the wing.
I would prefer Lancaster on the wing, though.
Oh yeah,
as would Mick Mills.
Yeah, that is his strength, isn't it? That's obviously where he likes to play and cutting in on that left foot. Yeah, 100%. But the Judge factor, we keep saying it, don't we? He's just he takes the free roll and goes with it. Do you know what I mean? So I can't see him being disciplined in that 3. I just can't see it, but I may be proved wrong.
But he's given the free role, isn't he? You know, he
Well,
must be, because he's the only player that does have that free sort of role. Then again, in previous weeks, Lambert has given the whole of his front 3 that sort of freedom to go left, go right. As I said to Thomas this morning on Twitter when he was saying how he wanted Edwards at left midfield, it's not necessarily how they line up in the first minute, because Lambert has this season traditionally given that freedom to the front 3. I don't see an enforcer in there away from home at a top 6 side. I don't even see a top tackler in there, or even a ball recycler. The midfield 5, if we'll call it a 5, intrigues me, because there needs to be a big game tonight from Andre for me. Away from home, top 6, you've been playing week in, week out. You are the anchor man. You are going to keep it all together. It's a big game needed, right, Neil, from Andre tonight?
I never see him as that dogged player. He's not sitting deep for that dogged grit and getting stuck in. He is there to receive the ball and play it out. That's all he is there for.
Yeah, you're right, Neil. He needs the protection of downs, really, doesn't he? He hasn't got that luxury at the moment.
No. Bishop will have to do a bit more of the getting stuck in, but as we always worry every time he goes to ground, is he still in one piece?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to get pressed big time this evening. They're going to play 3-5-2, I think, and they'll have that big lump up front, Charlie White, and he's going to get supported by Lyndon Gooch and Chris Maguire, who are wingers really, but they're going to be sort of sitting and pressing forward. So I think we could have a bit of a barrage to begin with. Be interesting to see how we cope with that. That's what makes me nervous about Inciala. If you've got those 2 nippy midfielders coming forward, he puts in I can see him certainly giving away a free kick around the edge of the box. That's 100% certain.
What I don't want to see...
If our midfield isn't going to follow or cover areas enough, then our defence is going to have to deal with quite a lot.
And they've got the perfect 6 for Sunderland, haven't they? They've got Grant Ledbetter, who we know.
Lead boots, as Rob calls him, Neil.
Yeah.
Who's playing
corners hitting the first man.
Playing regularly for Sunderland, and I'll have you know, he's 2 months older than Colt Skews. There you go.
Every show you've got to try and get Cole mentioned, didn't you? Every show.
I feel sorry for him. He's been a good servant for us, and all we've done is have a go at him. But he's out till New Year, isn't he? So you might not see him anyway.
He's in lockdown. What I don't want to see tonight, from Andre particularly, keeping the focus on Andre for a second, is what I saw on Saturday against Crewe, where he was a bit sloppy at times, and I've often criticised him on this with the ball. And I think Crewe hit us on the counter-attack in that instance, and there was 3 against 2. What I don't want to see is 3 against 2, and the 2 being Toto and Chambers, or even Toto and McGuinness, because that's when you're going to get a panicked situation, right?
Oh God, yeah, they're going to attack with. They're certainly going to attack with wing backs. They've got Denver Hume and that Luke 09, I think his name is. Must be an Irish German with a name like that. 09.
Luke O'Neill, 09.
You've ruined my gag.
Sorry.
But they're
documentary watcher.
They're going to attack with. Of course, yeah, good show. They'll attack with wing backs. So again, we're going to see the Dazelle, Ward and Chambers all under pressure a little bit. Cruncher made the point, and you did, Martin, at the start of the season. How do we, when we're actually facing 2 nippy wing backs coming towards that more ageing right and left back, we're going to find out tonight.
Which is exactly maybe why Toto's coming in ahead of Wilson, because you wouldn't. If I asked you to name or list our defenders in terms of pace, Neil, from 1 to 5, would you have placed Toto ahead of Wilson? I would. Would you? Yeah.
Wilson's, for me, the slower of the 2.
But he reads the game better, maybe. He probably reads the game better. I would not be confident with Enciala having to defend against pace. Exhibit A being the Lincoln last 10 minutes when he gave away the pen.
I've got a lot more faith in Toto than you two obviously have.
Well, I'm glad you have. Someone has to. I'd love to have more faith in him, but I'm only going on recent evidence.
Absolutely, no.
Really good performances.
Yeah, so again, the midfield 3 is even more important tonight. You know, normally you can get away with it, especially at home, like, not no strip to Crewe. They were a good side, but you could get away with a few loose passes. Tonight, there's not that option. You need to be on
it. As far as Toto's sort of tailed off with his performances, I'd say Dazelle's done a similar thing. He's been quite wayward with a few of his passes. He's been a bit sloppy with his decisions.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, he won our Talking Town Player of the Month, didn't he, boys? And I don't think he's featured at all in the follow up for October. So that probably, it's probably a lot of evidence to that.
He's a young player, and young players have that sort of dips in form and rises in form, and obviously at some point they have consistency, and they go on or they don't, and they disappear, sort of off the footballing radar, if you like. Looking into our front three options before we get to the centrepiece, Jack Lancaster returns ahead of Keenan Bennett's. I'm a Lancaster fan, but I am surprised that Keenan Bennett's hasn't featured, or Keenan Georgiou as he's been nicknamed. Are you both surprised, or are you happy? What are you feeling?
Do you think Bennett's isn't quite doing as much as he was potentially, Lambert was hoping he was going to do?
In terms of because he only gets minutes here and there, doesn't he, Neil? Maybe he's not showing in training. That's all I
I was meaning more training wise, because as you say, we haven't seen him a lot in game time, but he promises quite a bit, but we haven't really seen enough of that spark during the minutes he's played.
No, but he don't get enough time either, does he? He gets like those stupid subs where, like, it's 84th minute. I will give you 6 minutes.
Yeah, it's pointless.
He hasn't done it in 84. Do you know what I mean? What do you expect him to do? Miracles? That just makes me laugh. That kind of replacement. But,
the last time I remember him coming on was when we were pretty much dead and buried. Everyone's head was down. And it's like, here you go, go on and do your best. It's like, thanks, mate.
Go and have yourself 5 minutes. Cheers.
Yeah.
Here's something that's coming from Facebook, and guys, if you are on Facebook and you want to have your name and picture shown as your YouTube friends and your Twitter cousins, just click the link in the post that says I'm going live using StreamYard. It's just one click and then you should be fine. This is coming, I believe, from Benjamin, who's a regular on the show. I think I must be the only supporter just not convinced with Lancaster. Just don't get it, really don't. So tell the people at home what they can expect from Jack Lancaster.
Well, I think
on his day, he can just be. He's a tidy footballer. He can also add that little bit of a spark. When he first came on the scene, he would, because I thought youth wise he was a striker, but he played out on the right for us when he played first team football, and he would cut in off that right hand side, and he looked dangerous. And that
goal against Millwall on that New Year's Day, when he cut in on his left foot, and that's a fantastic goal, wasn't it? I mean, he showed what he can do in a game when he came off the bench against Bristol Rovers. It was his cross that forced the own goal, when it looked like it was going to be 0-0. And then I think he put that little pattern of play together for Nolan to weave through and score a second. So he's going to drift in and out of games, really, isn't he? And drift out of the team, as we keep seeing, because again, a young player, learning his trade.
Mm-hmm. Martin's muted himself.
Yeah, Martin. The land. He's had too many. He's not them Northern monks.
Sorry. I was getting that when from the management, the tavern management was having a quiet word. The lock-in was disturbed. So I was going to say with Andre, you're going to get that, aren't you? With Jack Lancaster, and I'm a big fan, and I like to think that if this show had a player that we really liked, it'd be him and Armando Dobra. Somebody else asked earlier, what is Dobra going to do to get into this 18? Yesterday scored a goal against the development team of Sheffield United. Obviously not in the 18 today. Should he be?
Do more when you're given a chance. Twice he's been involved. I know one of them was Fulham, and you could write that one off almost, because you could say they're above us, and no one was really going to do any good. But he just didn't quite show enough. Might be, a bit of a taskmaster, but I wanted more from him. He just seemed sloppy in possession and not.
Are you talking about last week, Neil, in the Gillingham game?
There was that game as well. He was very similar. He just tried a bit, and tried a bit, and nothing really stuck. But from previous seasons, last season, he just seemed he had a little edge further than he has at this minute. he's tailed off a little bit. So
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, I would imagine Lambert's the kind of manager. If you're a youthful player showing a little bit of swag, thinking you're decent, you've scored a worldie against Gillingham in the EFL Trophy, he's the kind of guy I think is probably going to try and keep you as grounded as possible.
Yeah.
So probably playing in these development games as he did at Bramall Lane yesterday is probably Lambert's way of saying you didn't want to go on loan to Crawley and you're not quite ready to come into my first team.
Yeah. Callie, Dobra has cameo roles though and still looks better option than Judge.
I'd probably agree with that. He certainly has more impact on the game when we've seen him. The worldie against Gillingham being a prime example.
When's Dan coming back? January, I believe.
Plus, you've got the fact that Dobra is a youngster, so he's going to give more for the future. Judge,
yes,
whether he turns up tonight or not, he's not giving us anything in the future.
No. He plays a lot of games. Yeah. Dobra plays a lot of games. Well, he goes away with the Albanian 21s as well, doesn't he? So he does a lot of travelling as well. So again, they're just managing his time, I think.
Well, let's just hope that Judge will interlink with Lancaster and what's his name, Edwards on the left. And they can change positions and roam around a little bit, get a little bit of creativity going.
I think Jacob Farrow is onto something here because he says, I think Idris will get the nod when he returns over Dobra. And I think we said this on the podcast on a Sunday, every Sunday 1:30 the podcast is, if you don't catch it. But I think we said this at the time. Idris, who's out on loan at Cambridge, if he has a really good year, he'll come back with a portfolio of work, if you like, to say, look, this is what I did. And then the fans who will also know that will say, look, why aren't we playing Idris El-Mizani? He did this at Cambridge, did that at Cambridge. Yesterday, Dobra scored a fantastic goal. But in my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, but he's playing against his own people, his own age. You know what I mean? You're not playing against Ledbetter, where you're running him in circles, a player who's played for over 10 years at a decent level. You're not turning this guy inside out. Has he hurt his chances in the long term? Well, maybe not long term, but has he hurt his chances for this year not going out on loan?
Maybe, but would you want to go on loan to Crawley? We saw John Yems on the 1:30 show, didn't we?
I was about to say, was the club the wrong choice?
Yeah, maybe. But I do feel like, we've said it before, I do feel like the youngsters are in a real comfort zone at Fulham because you see the facilities there. It's it's Premier League kind of facilities. Everything's done for them. You go to Crawley, it's a different culture shock. I mean, I remember going to Southend United's training ground, boots and laces, League Two ground, and it's not much better than the park facility. So it would be nice for them to go off and just experience something different. And they are lucky they are when they come back. Keeps you grounded.
The thing is, we had that young right back of ours. He went out on loan, was brilliant. He came back and not really any good for us. So the fact that Idris has gone and
Cotter.
No, not Cotter.
He's at my
Emmanuel.
Oh right, yeah. Well, he's not done too badly for himself. He's at Hull now, isn't he?
Yeah.
I thought he'd drift away into the non-league game, but he's actually at Hull City. So he's done.
He did what maybe Kenlock needs to do. Fresh environment, fresh management, fresh eyes, and all that sort of judge. Right, Jackson into the team finally. I can't tell you what sort of celebration I did when I saw Caden Jackson's name on the list. A striker that can score goals. You know me, I like those. Are we excited to see Caden Jackson today? Obviously, Ollie Hawkins got his first goal at the weekend. Were you surprised to see Jackson start over Ollie Hawkins away from home? Talk me through your thought process, guys.
Well, we've been quite critical of Hawkins, haven't we? You don't really rate him. I know the Cruncher doesn't rate him.
I don't either.
Cruncher called him the worst striker he's seen.
Yeah.
Hawkins never seems to be where you need him, and when he is, he's half asleep.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Sometimes I think with these taller players, these lankier players, I'm going to say he's not that good in the air, but he actually scored a header, so I'd contradict myself. But he's not the kind of player that's going to run channels. Like we're going to see they could put a ball over the top tonight, and Jackson's going to run into it, isn't he? You can't really imagine Hawkins doing that. But at least we've got a proven goal scorer. Hawkins is not a proven goal scorer. And really, the only who scored goals is in the National League.
With what Mike Davies said there, though, when we do our hump it long constantly, whether it's good or not, we'll just end up bashing it long. And when you've got the target man up there, you can generally try a bit of hold-up play. Jackson isn't that player, so we're going to have to, if they sit deep and they just, if they sit deep and they just header everything away and we can't get in behind them with the long balls and Jackson's pace, then we'll be in trouble.
Yeah. But they're going to be playing three at the back there, so there's going to be room for manoeuvre if we've got the three that we think we're going to have up top.
Hawkins scores, and this is a Facebook user, so I can't use your name because you've not given permission. But if Hawkins scores and gets dropped, think he deserved to start tonight. I was surprised. But I do think if Jackson's pace tonight, when maybe you're expecting to have to soak up a little bit of pressure. As we said on the Saturday show, if you put, as Rob said really, really, really brilliantly, if you put the ball either side of the 18-yard box, if you draw a line down the side of the pitch, he's not going to chase it, Hawkins. It's got to be to his feet. Whereas Jackson will run those channels constantly and consistently, and because he's quite fast, centre halves have to respect that pace and give it half a yard, give him maybe even a full yard, if in some respects.
But maybe that's where you're right, Martin. But that's maybe where Sears might have been a better option on the left side because you're going to get in at the far post. So now we're going to have to rely on either a Judge or an Edwards to get in there, or a Bishop around the penalty spot.
Now who's been drinking? Got a lot. Right, 2 minutes to kick off. Let's have some bold predictions. What we're going to do in the game. I want to score. I want scorers, positivity, boldness. I'm saying 3-2 Jackson hat trick.
That's mental. And you said, and you said it was going to be 2-0 down.
2-0 at half-time. The half-time show will be absolutely on fire with, Lambo out. I can hear Mike Brown in my headset now saying, "Get him out of my club." Love you, Mike. But no, we'll come back and win 3-2. What about you two? Curtis says 4-2 Nsiala hat trick. Love that boldness.
He's definitely been drinking.
Love the boldness. Love the boldness, Curtis.
Go on, Neil, you go first. What are you thinking?
I'd love to say 2-1 because I want to see some goals, but I'm feeling a 1-0 win for Ipswich.
Oh yeah, I feel like if we can come away with a point, brilliant, because we've won the 2 home games, albeit luckily. So we've got 6 points there. So if we come out with 7 points from 3 games, I'll be really happy. But I think we're probably going to lose 2-0. Being realistic.
Jeez, all right. Right, well, the teams
are
out.
Like me the other week.
We'll be back at half-time, so join us at half-time. And then obviously at full time, so have your say. But come on, you Blues. Let's have a good one.